Influence, the psychology of persuasion. You need to know that the influence of persuasion should never be taken jokingly. It has been used through several eras by some of the most influential people who've ever existed. You may also be surprised to know that the power of persuasion is something that doesn't require financial capital or any true experience. The point is to successfully deliver your point, through which you can hopefully guide others to the same platform as yours. What makes persuasion effective? Persuasion is one of the most effective approaches you can use in almost every walk of life. You can persuade others in group discussions, marketing, and political issues. You can build relationships through the power of persuasion as well. The key factor of this form of social influence is that you rely on appeal rather than force, which makes people decide for themselves that they want to be in a situation in which you can change their views and actions. People like the idea that they independently make decisions on their own and for their good, and persuasion does this very efficiently. Beliefs and goals. You must understand that all individuals are smart and rational. Everyone also can learn and construct thoughts based on how they view and understand their surroundings. The primary goal of persuasion is to let people want to rationalize and build beliefs according to your views. Persuasion surrounds us everywhere. Are you hungry? Restaurants will invite you to dine in their place. Want to see a movie? There will be plenty of posters to suggest which ones you should see. People always influence us, and it's easy to overlook this fact. Persuasion is merely a part of social life. The idea of either symbolically or rationally makes us think in specific ways, or accept new ideas and be compelled to take certain actions is actually what psychology is. Of the many ways in which persuasion can affect us, here are some that the psychology of persuasion can tell us about how to influence other people. Scarcity. Create a need. We tend to want something more if it's hard to get. This tendency harks back to a time when everything worth having, food, clothing, and shelter, was in short supply. This is a well-known method of persuasion. You should create a need or add some appeal to one that's already there. And our tendency to place value on scarce items has shifted with it. That's why people are prepared to pay huge sums of money for artifacts. You can take advantage of this tendency in your advertising. The easiest way to impose scarcity is to make a special offer and then place a time limit on it. A time-limited offer not only forces the prospect to make an immediate decision, but has a bonus to halt procrastination. Authority. Authority is an increasingly important tool to advertisers. Anyone who lives in a developed country is bombarded with information and tends to rely on third-party experts when forming opinions about matters outside of his or her immediate area of knowledge. Essentially, the advertiser is borrowing authority from a third party. While you can borrow authority to promote any product, you must ensure that your third party is a credible source of information in the mind of your prospect. Reciprocation. Most people are more likely to comply with a request when the person making the request has already given us something, i.e. a gift, or the person making the request has promised to provide us with something. Reciprocation works because most of us feel the need to pay our way and are uncomfortable accepting something for nothing. Reciprocation may also reinforce the power of friendship and consistency. Most businesses use reciprocation by giving out a free sample, hoping to demonstrate the usefulness of their product. Unfortunately, this technique is so common on the internet that it has lost some of its power. As people get used to receiving free samples and realize that this is merely a part of the marketing for that product, they feel less inclined to reciprocate. And that's why I don't offer free samples. Social validation/proof. This is a renowned method of persuasion. You should create a need or add some appeal to one that's already there. This kind of persuasion appeals to some deep-seated needs. Sheep tend to follow the shepherd. People aren't unlike sheep in that we tend to do what other people do. For example, we're influenced by the television that we watch, the results of opinion polls, and the opinions of the people we meet every day. Even television ads where a famous person is endorsing a product. The idea behind this is that if you use the same product, you're going to be like that celebrity in some way. This kind of advertising is quite a practical use of persuasion. Friendship/relationship. The more you like someone, the more likely you are to comply with the request that they make of you. In fact, you may even feel honored by such a request. Friendship isn't an easy tendency to apply on the web because you're mainly selling to complete strangers. This tendency requires that you establish a personal relationship with the prospect. Consistency. A person is more likely to take a specific action if he or she has already made a public commitment to do so. That's because we tend to want to demonstrate consistency in our lives. The big challenge. None of us is exempt from the 6 tendencies, and they can easily be incorporated into our online or offline marketing activities. One excellent method for coming up with unique ways of developing a new sales approach is to take this challenge. Give yourself one day to find 5 different ways to sell your product. It isn't as easy as it sounds. By forcing yourself to find 5 different ways to sell your product, you'll come up with at least one that is very effective. You can then try all 5 and see which one produces the most sales.